Good evening, and welcome to our show, Financial Freedom. My name is Sharon Riddick Johnson. I'm your host for this time frame, and I have some special guests here this evening that is going to be discussing a topic that is very, very serious in Prince George's County, Maryland, all over the area, and that is the situation with the homeowners, mortgages, and some fraud information that I do have two special guests that's going to bring that information to us and hopefully be able to help some homeowners that are possibly going through foreclosure, going through distress and not being able to make their house payments. And we just recently found out there's another rift going through of 6,000 or more homes to be foreclosed in the Prince George's County area. So let me go ahead and introduce my guest to you. Her name is Patricia Washington, and she is a Prince George's County resident that has a lot to offer and share with what's going on. And also we have available Mr. Washington, and he's going to be present as well for us to go over with this discussion. So Patricia, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a brief introduction of who you are.
Good afternoon. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I wanted to just share with our listeners the fact that 1 in 3 Marylanders say that corruption is a big problem in our county and in our state. And that's their perception. And all of us know that perception is real. So today we hope to leave you with some nuggets that will empower you to not be afraid, but stand up and fight. It's a fight of the good fight. Help is not on the way. Help is here today. So my organization is called Justice for Homeowners Advocacy Group. To my left is my son, Damien, and we both have been advocating for homeowners for the last 7 years by holding a conference call every week on Monday nights from 7:30. And folks call in, and depending on where they are in their struggle, because we believe that the whole area that we want to address is that no one just wakes up one morning and say, I'm not paying my bills.
Right.
Life happens. And so when that happens, be it a job loss, a divorce, a death in the family, a medical issue,
right,
then you're forced to now need the help and a safety net that unfortunately we don't have in Prince George's County. And so we find that homeowners, after investing years in their property, paying taxes, upstanding citizens. These aren't deadbeat folks that have just defaulted because.
Right.
And so I feel the stabilization of their families and the well-being is at risk. We are in a crisis. As you stated, there's 6,000 homeowners sitting in the hopper in Upper Marlboro waiting to be displaced. And that is unconscionable. It's actually scandalous. And so that's where we come in, because I think information and education is the key.
Right, definitely.
To overcoming, because my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And sometimes if we are not aware of it, the sensitivity of the time and the system is so cumbersome. You've got collusion in the courts, you've got all these things that are happening that a regular layperson have no idea. And so they're at a disadvantage. So we hope that whatever we can provide in the way of knowledge and pointing in the direction that can help you to assist in staying in your home,
right,
fighting the fight. Don't give up, because help is here. You just need to acquire it.
Well, that's very informative, because there are so many homeowners that, just like you said, that they just didn't wake up one day and decided that they were not going to pay their mortgage. Life happens,
Absolutely.
Things happen. And I'm quite sure in our listening audience, there may be someone that's experiencing somewhat that nature of that beast of the foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and quite sure they really don't know what they should be doing or should not be doing. And so whatever that you can share with us today, with your organization, with phone numbers where they can get on the conference call, whatever information that you can provide to our audience, our listening audience, would be a great help because this is a serious epidemic when people are threatened to be placed out of their homes or are displaced out of their homes and have, no other resolution to go. So whatever you can do to assist today would be most helpful.
Well, thank you. I wanted to share that even because of the gentrification,
Okay.
that's impacting our areas too. And I found out, I stumbled on a foreclosure ring in our county.
Okay.
And thereby we understand that there's someone under the executive county
Oh my God.
who is in office, and his immediate family is benefiting from information that they have prior to anyone else, and going after people, taking their homes, stealing their equity, and it's all documented. But because what you don't know, you can't address.
That's true.
And name identification, being in a position of leadership and authority, allows a lot of people to look the other way. We've talked to several elected officials. Why is it falling on deaf ears? And why only in this county it would go unchecked? That you
Right.
would have this much happening. I think it's now a tsunami. That's the I think it's of the proportion where people. I understand that they're focusing on the budget to have education and the schools, but I want to ask, where are these kids registering to school from? A homeless
Right.
shelter? I mean, this is what we need to bring to the forefront. So when I see executives or elected officials talking about these pageantry issues, they want to plant a tree someplace or fix a light, that's not the issues of today. Bread and butter. People
Right.
need to know that they should be able, once they've worked and paid their taxes and help to keep their home maintained,
Right.
that there should be help. The housing counselors is of no use to anyone because they're funded by the government, but yet they work with the banks. And what's happening is the same template that the banks use to defraud us is the ones that they use. So if the bank is set on taking your home, they won't stand in the way of it. And so we've got a lot of victims, people, they just throw up their hands and walk away. And I really would like to hone in on some of our churches,
Okay.
because without knowing, I can imagine 1 in 3 people in those congregations, they're congregants, going through it. But then there's a stigma attached to it. People don't come forward freely to tell because they feel some sort of way because they have, been in default again.
And again, it's an embarrassment
Well-
to them to a degree.
But then what happens? They don't tell. They're in a silo and they're getting taken advantage of. But when there are things at the corner of the street, everybody knows at that time anyway, and then it's too late. So I say, get the help you need. And our conference call on Monday nights from 7:30. The number is 712-432-1500. Our access code is 450643. And we'll be happy to assist. There's an attorney on the call. Several attorneys come in. They take turns.
Okay.
And then we have guests on there. So whatever the topic is or wherever you are, you find yourself in, that's where we'll start from and work with you, point you in the direction, a referral, and to get you back in the saddle. That's our goal.
Okay, well,
And
that's
Miss-
definitely helpful.
Yeah. I wanted to introduce my son who he's been with me the whole time
Okay.
helping because, and this was just born organically in our home because we saw our neighbors losing
Okay.
their homes. And these are upstanding people. So we know that right now I'm a resident of Cheverly and 28 homes, the last status check that I got from the town mayor was 28 homes. So for them, it's not a big deal. But one home is bad enough.
Yeah, it is when you're displaced, definitely.
This is a family. The emotional havoc that's reaped on the family, just transitioning, and it's a lot. So I would contend with anybody who say, well, you should have paid your bills, or they don't have the whole story. And you need to focus on the bank is never going to be in business if they're losing money. They're not too big to jail. We missed the mark on putting them there.
Right. So, Damien, what is it that you can share with what it's being said here about this particular issue?
Well, basically, I have been contributing to my household even from abroad. I travel and I live in different places in the country, throughout the year.
Okay.
As I worked in the entertainment business for the last 8 years. Um, what I can definitely say is it's definitely eye-opening to go through a lot of this information. I've spent personally myself countless hours and nights up doing research for the benefit of those who seek refuge with my mother's organization. Where I contribute is my expertise with doing research and investigating and, finding out about one of the things that led to stumbling on this ring.
Okay.
That I had to unfortunately get into once people were trying to go through means of obtaining our home without proper protocol. Like they were doing things back channeling, and if I hadn't been by my mother's side to witness what was going on at Upper Marlboro, in front of the court, no less.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to assist her and the other people that come together every week and are also fighting for their homes and their livelihoods. And obviously, just when you're under, you're somewhere my age bracket, you're under 30, you don't really pay attention to these kind of things because this kind of seems like soapbox kind of things, and
Okay.
but it is very important, especially within the community of people who are of color. Because we don't have the advantages of people with fairer skin than us, unfortunately. And especially in PG County, where we're supposed to be represented as more affluent than any other place in America, PG County is supposed to represent that people of color are more successful than the average person of color in any other county in America.
Right.
But when I see people that look like me having to go to court, Hyattsville, Upper Marlboro, Annapolis, and they're fighting for their homes and their livelihoods and their legacy, it's not a good feeling. Especially when I know what I had to personally endure, and I work hard, and I still have to, I've been contributing to my mother's bills, even paying my own, living elsewhere, and having to hear what's going on because people who we can't name at this point in time are involved in corruption, and then people who may not be involved but are equally as guilty by association or looking the other way or like she said, having things fall on deaf ears. It has to be addressed.
Right. Right. Well, I definitely agree with all of that. There's really been a lot that's been going on I live in PG County, and I try to keep up on some of the things that are going on, and it's a devastation that as many people are losing their homes, and most of it is due to the fact that they had health problems and they couldn't meet the quota of working. Some of them lost their jobs. Some of them went through divorces. It's a different story for each household. And then on top of that, there's a whole lot of corruption that's going on how things are being handled. Robo-signatures that are happening on the loans that are being signed. Some things that are being notarized in a different state than the state you live in. And the thing about it is that these investors, they get away with it. So it's a big fight, and it's a fight that a lot of people are afraid to fight.
Well, many are called, few are chosen, and the fact that we've been doing this for others, and now we're doing it because it's close to home.
Yes, yes.
And so when you have the passion to do it, then there's no stopping.
Right.
As
true.
I told the group on last Saturday, the Skida, as I was speaking with them, and I shared, this is not something that's temporary because it affects your entire life, your legacy.
Right.
Right. If all the years you've invested in your home and that's your largest asset, then why should someone just come and soup it up from under you, flip it, and then take all your equity to enrich themselves, and then you have to start over? at a linear age. I mean, most people with the economic downturn is at their lowest ebb right now and trying to, maintain. So to have that happen and to have someone who is in that position, penetrating that on us, this is difficult. It's a difficult situation.
So I would say now, if you had some expert advice to give our audience in reference to, because I'm quite sure that out of this listening audience, someone's been affected by this.
Yes.
Then they may not be coming forward because they really don't know what to say or who to say it to or what help to get.
Yeah.
So in all of that being said, what would you instruct someone to do if they were facing pre-foreclosure or foreclosure, or they've missed 2 house payments or 3 house payments, and they just don't have a clue as to what to do?
Well, the first thing I'd say is you cannot ignore the mail.
Okay.
You have to open your mail. You have to face it. I know from my own experience, sometimes you don't want to, but you cannot address what you don't know. And then, so this is all, it's a timeline.
Okay.
So when you miss a certain timeline, they're still working in, and even when you're talking to them about a modification, the banks, Sharon, it's all a gimmick. Mm-hmm. You're talking to them about a modification that you're sure that you have the means and you have all the things to qualify for.
Okay.
But on the same track, they're doing dual tracking, it's called, where they still are working towards getting you out of that home. It's not to their benefit to work it out for you. Mm-hmm. They've already gotten paid. Okay. They've been paid. The minute you supply them with a hardship letter, that's what they use to turn into the FDIC. And it's just like your insurance. When you have insurance and you have an accident and you turn in your complaint and you file that, then they ask you the reason why and all that. So then they reimburse the person. Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing that happened. The banks take that information, they're insured, and then they say, they lost this property, so they get a check. But here you are still paying. So there's a lot to learn. And so I would say that the first thing to do is not be quiet. Okay. You cannot be quiet. You've got to come forward. And again, if they want to contact us, we have referrals, and you're familiar with some of them. We have Attorney Noel, we have Attorney Davidson. They work feverishly, some pro bono. And to get wherever you are, you've got to do something. You cannot just wait, because time is your enemy. And the further you get in the delay is the closer you get to being out of the home.
Right.
So you've got to say something. Again, we have our conference call every Monday evening, 7:30. We probably won't have one this Monday because of the holiday.
Okay.
But and then my email address is justiceforhomeowners@gmail.com. The phone numbers for Justice for Homeowners conference call is 712-432-1500, access 45643. And we'll be happy to address those calls, and information will be provided.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk some more about this very, very serious subject that's going on in Prince George's County. So we'll be back. Give us a few minutes.
Yo, this is Queen Latifah, bringing a song to you about a place you might live. In case you don't understand, it's called New Jack City. In case you still don't understand, I brought along the burden troops to kick the ballistics. Come on. Full of mud, we'll steal from that world. Come on. Full of mud, we'll rob them over. Come on. Oh, don't let money change you. Oh, my dollar. many Benzes and BMs can one man afford? It ain't just him, it's also you and that guy. Who will be satisfied to all of us is getting high. One hit for her, she's pulling down your drawers. One hit for him, his wealth and check is yours. It ain't
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Riddick Johnson, your host for Financial Freedom for 2017. I have a special guest and I have two special guests that have joined. One have joined in. We have Patricia Washington, and we've been really talking about what's going on with the epidemic of the homeowners and the homes that are being placed under foreclosure for the banks and investors. And then I have just joined with us Roxanne Brown, which is a homeowner in Prince George's County. So we're going to continue this conversation and see what kind of help we can offer to our listening audience that may be going through this very serious issue. Go ahead, Patricia. Finish off where you were.
Yeah, I do want to impress upon our listeners that if the servicer is Ocwen,
Okay.
formerly GMAC, then they should know that they're barred from operating in Maryland. They no longer can transact any mortgage business, and so I believe they're transferring all their mortgages to Wells Fargo. But give us a call and we'll try to get that information and confirm it for you. But Ocwen cannot operate in Maryland.
240.
The number here is 240-455-5934. Thank you.
Definitely call in if you have a question or concern. I want you to go ahead and, Patricia, give them the information again on how they can get in touch with you and the conference call that comes
Sure.
on Monday nights, your website information as well. I think that's very important information to keep relaying to our customers.
Absolutely. Before I do that, I'm going to talk about the HOAs.
Okay.
Because in the past, no one thought the homeowners association would be able to put a lien on your home and acquire it. Well, this is happening now. And it's happening because if you, normally you're focusing on paying your mortgage, and you figure that's the primary debt that you have. But lately, we've had a homeowner who lost his home. His mom passed. She had taken out a loan, and the HOA found out about it and was able to go satisfy that loan and take the home from him.
Oh, my Lord.
So there's so much happening, moving parts to what's happening, all fraudulent. But unless you are equipped or you say something, you have to, when you see something or you're experiencing something, you cannot sit home in a silo. No one will be able to help. You've got to speak out. And we're on our conference call every Monday evenings at 7:30. It's Justice for Homeowners Advocacy Group. The number to dial in is 712-432-1500. The access code is 450643. And we'd love to answer questions for you, point you in the right direction, give you the information that we have. We have people as far as Connecticut, Tennessee, that's on there because this is happening nationally. And therefore, what may be affecting you in your state is not affecting us.
That's true.
We can still learn from each other some of the tactics. I spent a lot of time in the law library in Upper Marlboro, and just to know what my real property rights are. So the information gaining is very critical. And again, you've got to let someone know. Do not sit at home. Don't answer your phone. That's the biggest problem that we have. People wait till the last minute, and then it's difficult. When it's already sold post foreclosure, it's a hike, and then you're dealing with collusion in the courts at that time.
Is it imperative to have an attorney work for you?
I like to say, I started out with a guide for self-representation, and you can get that from the courts. And I started, as a matter of fact, do as much as you can. Learn your own case. Because even when you have an attorney, most people I find, they just kind of, I have an attorney. But what is your case?
Right.
Do you have a strategy? It's all about strategy. And you have to know your case. Because how are you going to oversee? Because when you hire an attorney, he's your employee. How do you know that he's advocating correctly for you if you don't know your own case? So you cannot be divorced from that.
Right.
And so, yeah, I encourage you to
The
do
other
that.
thing that I think is very important is that, there's laws that have been put in place, state laws,
Absolutely.
county laws that have been put in place, and you just need to start Googling that information so that you can get abreast on what it is that they can and cannot do to you in accordance with the laws for the state and jurisdiction that you're in. That's very important as well. Sometimes you have to do your own due diligence to make sure that you're protected to the best that you know. And sometimes when you're in situations and you're depending on another official to help you, it's kind of best to also know to the best extent you can
Right.
on what you can and cannot do.
Right, because they're representing several people. They have a lot of
Right.
cases. They're juggling different things, and they may miss the mark. Like sometimes I have to, say, follow up and say, "Oh, did you get? Because this is due tomorrow or a couple of days ahead, or draft my own."
Right.
And that goes a long way towards you at least being part of the process. Then you can help someone else because you know how it's done, and you learn by doing. At least I do.
Right. It's kind of a tragic thing for some people because you have some people that their stuff is placed out on the street and they have nowhere to go, nowhere to get their things from point A to point B, and it's just that I think at this point in time that the audience needs to know that there is help, that certain stages that you're in, it would determine what help that you need.
Absolutely.
But don't walk away from your home.
The earlier
That's
the
the
better.
one thing that you don't want to do.
That's right. Stay and fight.
Just don't walk away from your home and abandon your property.
That's right.
Stay in your property.
Very important.
There are county officials that are aware of what's going on with this as well,
Yeah.
and they're very concerned. Some of them are really concerned about this next wave of the foreclosures that are about to happen in the county. And it's just a very serious issue because a lot of these families have small kids, infant kids, some women may be pregnant. It's just a whole variety of different things that's going on. So with all that being said, we're going to have to start getting ready to shut down now. But our next session, we'll definitely come into more and talk about it in June. And we'll have something really put together for people that they can reach out and get information. But in the meantime, again, my name is Sharon Riddick Johnson, and I have a business called Small Business and Family Support Services. You can reach me at sbssservices@aol.com, and my phone number is 202-420-1243. If you feel so, call me, and I'll definitely make sure you get in touch with Patricia Washington and her team of people that are helping and assisting people with this epidemic. Do you have any closing things that you'd like to say?
Well, the number here is 240-455-5934. Still time to give us a call if you have a burning question. I think that the main thing is, and I don't know if I answered your question, Roxanne, when you said, should you have an attorney?
Yeah.
You're as good as your attorney. The attorney goes in
Exactly.
because he has the license
Right.
to practice.
Right.
And oftentimes, as a pro se litigant, when you go in, you're not treated in the same manner. But if you're prepared, you're coached, and you know your case, the judge is impressed. And so they, and you know the law, so it works. So yeah, I would say start off knowing your case before, and then you'll know the help that you need, because you may hire someone who's a litigator, and you're not there yet. You just need someone to get you through a modification or just to muscle the bank.
Exactly.
I've had times when I had to get an attorney to send papers into the bank because they kept saying they weren't receiving it,
Right.
and that's the game that they play.
They do play some games.
So I had an attorney, and once she emailed in it, they got it. How can they lie to an attorney? See, and these are some of the things that we need to know and empower each other.
Exactly.
So again, you don't want to shy away from it. This is your home. This is your biggest investment. And my mom used to say, you treat it like, what's that snake that?
The python.
Yeah. Treat it as, because that's all you have, and you need to leave a legacy. We who are believers need to leave a legacy for our children
Yeah.
and their children's children. And no one should just swoop in and steal our equity. It's not right. As I shared with the council members on Saturday, if they have investors, I like to call them predators, why aren't they focusing on the blights, the vacant homes?
Right.
Go get
Exactly,
those.
exactly.
Why are you emptying people out of their homes that
Right.
they work hard for, so that they now at the linear age have to start over, scrambling around, don't have anything? It's not right.
Is it that they've gotten paid for those homes already?
Well, that's true. And then so if you're saying, well, these are investors and they're just doing what they do, they need to focus on the homes that are sitting there, causing a blight, bringing down the property value for the other homes that are, upstanding, and work with the people. There should be a safety net, and no one is running in 2018 or 20 that's getting my vote if I've got them all marked.
That's right.
Because if they haven't stepped up, then they're part of the problem. And so we cannot, no more can we just sit back and say a name
Yeah,
ID.
time is money.
Yeah, we've got to do something. All of us have to band together
Exactly.
and then write your congressperson and get in touch with your elected officials. So what are you doing? You want my vote when it's time for an election, but here I am, decimated. My life is in turmoil,
Right.
and no one should have to deal with that. So that's my spiel.
That's right.
Okay, so just go ahead and give your information again.
I see. Thank you
Yes,
so
And
much.
then we'll close out.
Pleased to be here, and thank you. We'll be ready with an agenda in June. I'm scheduling. We're getting a town hall, so I'll have that information. A town hall meeting. Yeah, that will be mid-June. On foreclosures, and we'll have a panel that addresses the issues. My information to contact, my phone number is 240-764-6880. Again, we meet every Monday weekly. It's a weekly conference call, and that number to dial in is 712-432-1500. The access code is 450643, and ask your questions. Everyone gets on there and asks where they are. They tell us their status, and then we let them know what the next steps could be. So it's very helpful,
Okay.
and there's no cost.
Right.
We're just passing and paying it forward.
Well, I definitely appreciate you being on my show this
you
evening,
for having me.
bringing some information that is very detrimental for, I think, thousands of people that maybe are on the call or don't know about the call.
Yes.
But it's something that really needs to be addressed, and not just be addressed, but something that needs to be moved forward and something done about it. Do you have any closing things you'd like to say, Roxanne?
No.
None.
Do you do justice?
Okay, well, this again is Wizards for Financial Freedom. Signing off, Sharon Riddick Johnson. Have a wonderful evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna have to get one of those. I'm gonna go get one of those.